Okay. Hi. Hi everybody. Wow, there we go. There's like room. There's our faces. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Say hello. Hello, Priscilla. Michelle, my belle. Good to see you. Connie, hello. Rhonda, hello. Cheryl, Tatala, how are you, Mamala? Good to see you. Good evening to you both. Thank you. Facebook user. Oh my God, Facebook user, who are you? Hello, thank you for being here. Delora. Peanut Gallery is up here in the cheap seats. You're funny. Um, Phyllis Lombardi. Hello, everyone. Kim, hello. Cheryl, hello, hello. Lori Ann, Chrissy, and Michelle. It's like romper room, April. And MK and Gina and Caleb. Hello, hello. Ronnie. Hello, 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 hello. MK. Hey, Eli. Oh, I'm not a piece of cheesecake, but thank you though. Beth Rogers. Hello. Priscilla says hi. April. Laura. Hello.
Hey,
Oh my God! It's psychic medium Lee Walzak.
there's
Lee,
Lee.
what are you doing here, guys? Lee asked me to be on his live sometime soon. I
How
was just telling
exciting.
I was just telling April that. Uh, okay, good to see you, Gloria. Hello. It's Ellen Jane. Hi, Ellen Jane. And Chris, hello from Iowa. Cindy, hello. Hello, everybody. Thank you all for being here, for coming on. Hi, Lee. Not Delora. Not Delora. I said hi, Delora. I said Delora. I give you your own theme song and everything. Psychic medium Lee Walzak. Yay! Yay. So is psychic your first name, Lee, and then Walzak would be your last name, and medium Lee is like your middle name? I'm just checking. So sorry, I'm just being sassy today. It's the vanilla. April, I had chai tea with a little bit of vanilla and a lot of cinnamon, and it's like zzz, zzz, zzz. I'm just a little, yeah, it's a little
Just
crazy.
a little much, huh?
It's a little bit much. Anyway, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to. April is new to me, and she's new. Our first like official Friday spirit chat. So thank you for coming in and doing this spirit chat with me. I want to introduce you to everybody, and I know that you're a friend of Lee's, and it's so good to have you here. Thank you for being here.
Thank
What?
you for inviting me.
You're welcome, of
Yeah,
course.
I'm excited.
Where are you? Where in the world are you located? Don't tell us your address because you'll have.
Where in the world is Carmen, San Diego? I don't know why that just came in, but I'm in Austin, Texas.
Austin has a whorehouse in it. Yes, of mercy, bless my soul. Sorry. Uh, we'll be trouble. I think you and I would get into a lot of trouble. I
Probably.
just have that vibe. Yeah, totally. 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 Watch out, Lee. Here we come.
Oh no.
I know. I love the new picture, Michelle. That's beautiful. Hi, Kelly, and Joy, and Stephanie, and Dina. So, can you tell everybody a little bit how you got started in all this?
Yeah, well, um, I didn't start in it because I wanted to. I'll say that.
Okay.
I didn't have this graceful, beautiful expansion and everything was magical and all this stuff. Mine was nothing like that. It was Dark Night of Soul, psh, throw me off the cliff, bitch. Hope you can swim in the deep.
It's nice.
Like it was crazy. So I was born, seeing fairies and angels and stuff very, very I was still in diapers. The first memory I ever had. And I tried to stuff it down and ignore it and do all the stuff. And it took me till 2017. Yeah, so I'm about to be 44. So it took me a long time to finally be like, well, I tried to give it back and that hasn't worked. So I guess I have to just see what happens if I just step into it. And that was the very last straw, right? Like you just step
Very
into
true.
it and so I did. I finally just was like, okay, no more fighting it. I'm just going to step into it and wow, changed my life. Completely changed my life.
I love that, and it is for me. That's why when I teach, I'm like always softly, gently, and quickly because for me it was kind of like right in the face, right?
Yeah.
Um, Lee says we would be in a lot of trouble. We would get in a lot of trouble.
He probably knows us both well enough to know that
Yes.
too.
Oh, it's Mama Buckley's birthday. Tell her happy birthday. Hi, Chris.
Happy
Gemma, thank you.
birthday.
Cheryl and Chris, thanks for being here. So tell me a little bit about, because there are some things that you do that I don't do and vice versa. Now, I know you also get information from kind of like Dr. Lisa Thompson, get stuff from the galactics, if you will.
So I think Lee even refers to it as a yes no psychic. Like I am a psychic. I have all the active clairs. I am a medium, an evidential medium, but I tend to feel more like a portal than a channel because um I have experiences with galactics and Bigfoot and fairies, and I have seen cats walk through portals, and this is all with my physical eyes, mind you. And so I have seen some stuff that would probably put people in padded rooms, not knowing what was going on, but like yeah, I guess there's a lot going on there for sure, and I don't know, which parts you do and which parts you don't do, but that's kind of like I have a range.
Well, there's a story about, because it's not that I'm not a believer, and
Mhm.
in the beginning when I started, I would see it physically here, but then a couple of times it freaked me out seeing it like I'm seeing my hand. So now
Mhm.
I just see it in here.
Mhm.
But I did see it visually. We were on a retreat. It was probably one of my first retreats that I did in Michigan. We were in Waterville, Michigan, which is about maybe half an hour or so from St. Joseph, Michigan. So South Michigan. We're on a retreat. We just finished doing a fire ceremony. And we're looking up at the tree, all of us. There were about 30 of us there. And I'm like, oh my God, is everybody seeing what I'm seeing? There are these blue flashing lights.
Okay.
And they were super, like
Yeah.
twinkly, twinkly, like
Yes.
this pink,
Yeah.
but blue. And then the owner of the retreat comes out and she's like, oh, did you guys see the fairies? I'm like,
Yeah.
the what?
Right away, the fairies. Yeah.
The what? And
Yeah.
she's like, all those blue lights. I'm like, you see them too? I said, I thought it was the smoke from the fire. Um, and I was kidding with her. But it was all about the fairy lights. And
Mhm.
I'm like, can they just land in my hand so
Oh,
I
they're
can?
so cute. They're so playful. When I was really little, my first memory, I was still in diapers and I couldn't talk. I didn't have the words yet, but I could walk. And we lived in some old trailer here in Texas, and my mom put me in my room. And I was on my side, and there was a bear about as big as me, laying next to me, and I could see the light because my mom was in the bathroom next to me, next to my room. And a little fairy crawled up to the top of the bear and looked over at me, and it said my name, and I freaking flung the bear and went screaming, running out of the room. And I'm like, I couldn't tell my mom I didn't have the words, so she's just like, oh, there, you're fine. And I'm like, no, bitch, don't take me back in there. Like, scared
She
the
was thinking this,
yeah.
people. She wasn't saying it too, but go ahead.
Yeah, like it scared the bejesus out of me. I didn't know I was
Sure.
in that place where I was uh, coming into my human coma, basically, where you fall asleep. And so like I was in between, and it scared me at first. And so ever since then, I've seen fairies my whole life. Like, and I've seen them come in different sizes and different shapes and different colors. And yeah.
Interesting. And what would you say, like, if you got a message from the fairy world, what would that be? Because we're talking, guys, today about awareness of messages. So what would that be like?
So what do you mean? Like if I asked for a message or if I got a message?
Both, either one.
Okay. Well, I mean, specifically, if you want a message from the fairies or anything for that matter, you can just ask for it. So just point blank, there's no limits to our reality. We're in this 3D body, and that feels limiting, but time and space and all those things aren't really what we think they are. So if you want a message and you want a message from Bigfoot or galactics or fairies or your loved ones, you just ask for it. You just say, hey, I need this message. I'm wanting to know where to go with this, and you just wait for the messages to come in. I feel like that's where discernment comes in too, where
Sure.
you have to kind of figure out what that is for you. Um,
When you've received one, what do you usually get from that realm?
from fairies.
Yes.
So a lot of times when I personally call on fairies, it's because I need more playful energy in my life. I'm all work and super direct and just like grinding and lots of fire that you say like you see in me. There is a lot of that, but it's a reminder to just kind of just have fun. No, don't forget the magic. Remember to play, care for myself, a little bit of indulgence, things like that. That's literally what they come to remind me for.
And that is fascinating because I think you've hit the nail on the head here. I think what we forget that we have as kids, we have that imagination, we have that
Mhm.
playfulness, we have that, like, there's no holds bar. And as we get older, that limit, that, whatever you want to say, I don't want to say boundary, but here's the boundary. And what
Right.
happens as we get older, it gets to here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And like Lee says, be childlike, curious, and playful. Exactly.
Mhm.
Travel Chick says I came in the perfect time. Fairies, yes. And Dolores says fairies love
Oh,
bubbles.
yes, and I still to this day will sit at my desk while I'm working and blow bubbles. So
Phyllis said, "What about Bigfoot? I would really love to see one."
yeah. So Bigfoot, they're really neat. They're a collective. I got a message from Bigfoot. Actually, we had a conversation. I channel with them a lot. And I was curious because I've actually had Bigfoot leave me a grass, like he made me a hand woven grass crown and left it at my porch doorstep. And I'll have to send you that picture, Elias. Remind me to
Please
send you
do.
that picture. So I I had this thought. I was like, how come I keep hearing people say how much Bigfoot have this smell or this odor and they smell bad? And I've seen Bigfoot and had these experiences and I don't ever think you guys smell. So I'm curious, like, what's that all about? And the message I got was that they have what happens is when they're warping because they can dematerialize, there's a chemical reaction that happens in that and it puts
Fascinating.
off a smell. And I was like, wow, I would have never guessed that would have been the answer, but it makes sense on so many levels. So yeah, it's interesting to come up with those conversations that we have sometimes.
And many of the people I'm showing you, April, because people are like, well, and I said, hey, look, one of the people that came to my wedding, we were had a little s'mores afternoon evening snacky. And I mean, here's the picture.
Oh yes, that is beautiful.
And then if you look, I mean, you cannot mistake this for what it is.
Wow.
You really can't.
No,
And
you
the
can't.
interesting piece is, like, here's the angel right
She's
here.
beautiful. Yeah.
And I see another face right there. Like, if I
Hmm.
let me see if I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fascinating to me. And who knows? Who knows? And I just am like, you can't make this up. You can't make this up. Michelle
I
will
wish
be,
I know it's like I wish I could, but I'm not that creative. Sorry, y'all.
yeah. Hi, Tapala. Yes, Delora will be squatching.
Yeah.
Pamela wants to know, is there anything comparable to the smell?
I wish I could tell you. I don't know because I've never personally smelt the smell, which is why me and my Bigfoot buddy had that conversation because I never smelled the smell,
Yeah.
and so that's why I don't know, but from what I've heard from other people, I've heard it's really raunchy. It smells like sulfur or death. So I don't really know. I couldn't compare it for you. I don't know.
See, now when you said sulfur, I just got the chills up
Yeah.
and down
So
my
that's kind of that's what I've heard. And when Bigfoot told me, he said what happens is we warp and we dematerialize. And I know that that's true because the one time I had a Bigfoot experience physically, I could hear him, but I couldn't see him. He was dematerialized, but he was right in front of me growling. And I was like, whoa, whoa, okay. And so, like, but I couldn't smell him. So I don't really know other than what they said. So I just know that they can warp and go through this chemical process and it puts off an odor.
So where's the origin? This is fascinating.
So this is a great conversation. This is another question that I asked them.
Yeah.
Before I got connected to Lisa Thompson, I was just barely scratching the surface of coming out about my galactic and Bigfoot experiences. And so she and I like came together right at that same time. It was perfect timing. And I asked my Bigfoot friend, I was like, well, where are you guys even from? And they told me Maldeck Moon. And I was like, what is Maldeck? It sounds like some made up Dungeons and Dragons thing or
I
something.
like it though.
So I asked Lisa, I was like, do you know what this is? And she was like, no, I'm not sure I know what that is yet. But then she found out and she presented it in class. There was a couple of us in class, and I think there was like 8 or 10 of us. And she was like, guess what, April? And she put up this slide and she goes, Bigfoot are from Maldeck. And I was like, oh, what? No, see, Lee was in class. He was there when it happened. Like, it was amazing. I was like, wow, that was so freaking awesome. Like, it was cool.
Now, was Delora in class with you?
She was not in that one. Yeah, this happened a
Delora,
year ago.
I could just hear you. I'm hearing your voice, Delora. Shine on, Maldeck Moon. Yeah. Oh, so sorry. Just had to. Phyllis says, I'm so jealous. I want to have him as a friend.
Girl, all you have to do is go out there and make friends. Like, just ask them to come in. They'll come in.
Yeah. See, Gloria, where is he from? From Maldeck Moon.
From Maldeck. So Maldeck, you guys, if you don't know, it was a planet. I want to say it was between Jupiter and Mars, and now it's been destroyed, and it's an asteroid belt. Can't get the words out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where they originate from. So they were like transplants. They were brought here. The ones that survived were brought here, and they have a connection to the galactics because here they are like scouts here.
Mm-hmm.
So they take samples of the Earth, they watch over us, they do things, and then report back to the galactics, and sometimes have to bring in samples and things like that. So that's what they do here.
I think that's fascinating. And I'm
That's
laughing because Dolores says when you visit, bring a Lindbra. Okay, it's also really bad for those of you that weren't on TikTok today. Somebody asked me, how do you heal your chakras? And I don't know what came out of my mouth. Well, I do know what came out of my mouth. It was a complete dad joke. And I said, with a leash. It's like I just don't find it funny. And my dad used to crack up at his own jokes too. So I know that's something that we have in common. So if somebody was to get a session with you and they said, April, I'd like a reading, you bring in all of it. Is that correct?
Yeah, you get all of me. And I'm a life coach and a mentor. So first and foremost, I'm a teacher. So whether you're trying to navigate your grief or recovery from a narcissistic relationship, or you're trying to look to get more in touch with your own abilities, I'm a teacher first and foremost. So that coach in me comes in all of the sessions, no matter what. But then if you're asking questions for, what I see coming for you in the future in regard to work or money or romance or moving, or maybe you want to connect with a loved one and a galactic guide comes through, whatever it is, that's kind of what a session might look like.
So let's talk, because you mentioned it, and thank you, Priscilla. And here is April's website, and it's right there, guys. And just to let you know, April, if you choose to come back on again, they have now on StreamYard where you can put your title. It's like you put your name and your title, so you could put in your name and then your.
I actually did. I think I saw that, and I just didn't even. Yeah, I just put my name on there.
Ronnie says, I've always been fascinated by fairies and drawn to fairies. I tattooed a large fairy on my back about 10 years ago. A week ago, I started to see random little lights twinkle to the left of me over and over. It freaked me out for a moment, but now I get it. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's a lot of times when you're like first starting to like tap in, it'll come out like little lights and things like that. One time I had these 2 little fairies. This is where they do it to me the most. When I'm laying in bed and I'm trying to sleep and I'm grumpy, like if I want my sleep, I'm like, take your game somewhere else. Like, get out of my room. I need my sleep. So like they're flying around on my bed right above me. And one was in purple and one was in red. And they were like the size of termites. They were super tiny. And they were like dancing around each other and playing. And I was like, you guys, I'm trying to sleep. I felt like the big mean mom.
That's funny. There it is. There it is, Nancy. Right there, Nancy. Got it? Got it. What is the definition of galactic? Oh, good one, Michelle.
It's a good one. So my definition of galactic is are the different races that come from the stars. I'll just say that. So from the galaxy outside of Earth. So for me, when I say galactic, I'm talking about Shalek was a galactic being I've had connection with. There's been Arturians. I have 3 Syrians that come with me a lot to everywhere I go. So there's a whole bunch of different galactic races out there.
Yeah. And guys, and I want you to know, here's the thing. For some of you, this is completely new, right? My belief is I believe that there is much more out there than we realize. I just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean that I don't believe in it. Just because I have not connected to Bigfoot doesn't mean that I don't believe that there's Bigfoot. I think there's people out there like April that could and can. And like she said, all of us can, whatever, but there is that part of fear to let go of,
Mm-hmm.
part of also judging you, that you, the impatient part of you, y'all know who I mean, the impatient part of you that won't get that, and then just be knowing that you get what you're supposed to get when you're supposed to get it. I mean, when I was little, I do remember always white lights, little shiny white lights, and I remember sitting at my so I went into psychotherapy because she was my teacher for my Peruvian shamanism um, apprenticeship program, and we were chatting in session, and I'm like, there are a bunch of like little dancing, little tiny white, little fading white lights, like I can't even explain to it. It's like I see it right here, but I think it's over there, but I'm not really sure. And there were about 20 of them, and they were doing like these dances things. It was
Yes.
just, I'm like, do I have cataracts? Just tell me, am I having cataracts?
Did I have eye floaters, whatever it is?
Floaters, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what, wouldn't it be awesome if narcissists? Let me tell you, mine
They kind of do, actually.
mine did as well. Mine had a bad set, like really bad.
Yeah.
It was like
Mhm.
my ex narcissist smelled like rust.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think narcissists, there's this thing about narcissists, they have, in order to attract their supply, they have to put off this pheromone. So technically, there probably is actually a smell that's going on.
Yeah. Delora says Palladians,
There you
Lyrians,
go. Yes, all kinds. All kinds.
Andromedians, Orions, Zetas, vegans.
Yes, blue avians, like all of there's yeah, she's got it. That's good. Thank you, Delora. I actually had an experience with a Draco male reptilian one time in the backyard in Utah. That was quite an experience.
Hmm,
Yeah. Yeah.
interesting. Cheryl says regarding Bigfoot, are the messages from Bigfoot or visions, or what do you get?
I get both. So I can connect telepathically, which is what I do most often with everything. And then I've actually had experiences like physical experiences. I've had Bigfoot standing in my room. Um, I've had Bigfoot on my porch outside banging on my door. And then he was dematerialized, so I couldn't see him. But he was running up and down my stairs. It was a crazy experience. I had him hanging out, and I asked him for a sign, and he left me a hand braided grass crown, which I will. I wish I had the picture of that right here, but I can send it to you later, Elias, if you want to upload it in comments or anything later.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I've had both. I can do both.
And Dolores says, just North American or Yetis too?
The ones that okay, so there's a collective and they have different regions and tribes also. So the one I experienced the most with is here, North American, not Yeti.
Okay, so Michelle is new to the work, and she said, so all the stories we hear about people looking for Bigfoot, it's not what we're talking about here, correct?
I am not a Bigfoot hunter, if that's what you mean. I love life, and I'm all about like we don't have to kill it and do all these things for science. Like that's not even necessary. So if that's what you're talking about, I'm not that.
But a Bigfoot communicator,
Right.
Michelle, being able to. So here's what we're talking about, everybody, just so everybody knows. We're talking about energy.
Yeah.
Because that's what the universe is made up of, energy, higher being, Shaka Zulu, Buddha, Allah, Shaka Khan, whatever you want to say, created the universe.
Right.
And each universe, because there's multi-universe, each universe has a certain energy, and everything has an energy. And I believe that we are attracted to certain energies. So if I was to tell you guys in a past life, my oldest life that I can remember is from Lumeria, which is right before Atlantis, that I can remember. Does that mean that I might have had, look, my ear is getting red right now.
Oh yeah, mine does that when I'm channeling.
Yeah, mine too. Does it mean that I have not had a place outside of there? I don't remember it, but my furthest memory is that. Now, April, I'm guessing April might have had these past lives with these certain entities, if you will. I don't want to say entities. Let me.
I don't even want to say past lives. It's more like alternate lives, because past makes it sound like there's this time thing going on, right? So a lot of people.
Another trip for everybody.
Yeah, that's a whole nother trip. But past, alternate. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Or just say she's had another life.
Other lives, yeah.
With these energies, and
Yes.
that blueprint memory is part of her connection. Would I be correct with that?
Yeah, totally. It's in my cell memory. It's in my DNA. And so I had to have those experiences so that way I could come here and do my job this way. So that way I had the connection so I could fulfill my mission, if you will.
Yes. And I love that, MK, that you felt Brian's energy on the beach these past 4 days. That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. And just so you guys know, because April did bring it up, we are going to have tomorrow Kathleen Ellee. She's a #1 international bestseller. She will be on tomorrow talking about moving through grief and loss. Now, her son chose to leave this world on his own. We'll say it that way. And she does have a book, and I always forget the title of the book because it's such a great book. I ordered a copy because I really wanted to read it, and the title of the book, as I look it up here, is Shattered Together: A Mother's Journey from Grief to Belief, a guide to help you through sudden loss. So super excited about that discussion tomorrow. Now, Priscilla says it makes everything interesting. Yes, so true. Everything is energy. I promise you, he is everywhere, and we're sending you love. Yes, exactly, Andrea. Exactly. Andrea says, pretty sure I have Palladian guide. I'm sure you do. I bet you we all do, and they're all hanging up there going, we're just waiting for them to
always
just chat.
They're just like angels or our spirit guides. They just want us to just talk. That's all you got to do. Just open your mouth.
Yep. And
open
that's
your mind.
what you have to do.
Yeah.
This burning red. Look at the difference, guys, from that ear to this ear.
My ear totally does that on the right side all the time like that. Yeah, it's so funny.
It's so funny. So what does anybody have any questions for April? First of all, let's do it that
and also in the meantime, I just wanted to say I think myself and your guest tomorrow would have a lot in common too. Awesome. Because we both have children that have passed. So I think that's
okay. That might be something that you might want to chat with her and say, hey, you do lives as well, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I've only been doing it for a couple months, and I'm starting school. I'm going back. I'm doing like a boot camp for 5 months for web development. So I'm gonna back off to like 2 lives a month. But yeah, I'm doing them.
Awesome. Pamela, I like your phraseology. I use the phrase "pass from depression." See, and when I've talked to everybody across the way, what I hear is they do prefer, that we have chosen to leave in our own accord. which is just a
Yeah.
nice way of putting it. It's a beautiful way. Um,
Well, and it just goes to show like how much we really are in charge. Um, because I think a lot of people don't know people forget that we are our own bosses and we do get to decide how we live our lives here.
and that's a really good book too, you guys. Read Dr. Sue Morter's The Energy Codes. So Travel Chick has, so when you go into a room and you can feel the energy, but you don't see it, how can you tell what it is?
There are so many other ways to decide that. So that's where discernment comes in because we have all these different clair abilities. So you've got seeing, hearing, feeling, touching, smelling, knowing. So if one doesn't work, then you move on to the next one. If that doesn't work, then you move on. It's almost like backing your way into it, if that makes sense at all. It's process of elimination, basically. Like, oh, this one doesn't work. All right, let's check in with this one. Okay, that didn't work. Let's check in with the next one.
And this is something that I teach, April. I teach that when we're talking about the clairs,
Yeah.
and I tell people, okay, they're like, well, I really want to see, or I really want to hear, or I really want to feel. And I ask them, how do you see yourself? How do you talk to yourself? So you're listening to yourself talk. How do you feel about yourself? When you talk smack about yourself, I'll just say it, guys, when you talk shit about yourself and you talk degrade yourself, you are lowering that vibration,
Totally.
lowering that frequency of connecting on a clairaudient, clairvoyant, or clairsentient place. It lowers your vibration when you talk bad about yourself or see yourself in a negative light. That negative self talk will change the frequency. It's still there, but it just lowers it so you're not hearing, seeing, feeling it properly. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's true, but I also think that in the early stages, and a lot of people might have an opinion about this, but I can say that based on my own experience, you know, when you're first learning how to hone in on your abilities, if you put it out there that I want to see this or I want to experience it this way, now you're attaching to that outcome, and that's all ego. So you're already shutting down your experience. That's the first thing you're doing. You're saying it has to look this way, and then you're already shutting down your experience because you've put these limits on it. And
Right.
so I feel like that a lot of us in the new stages will hurt ourselves by doing that.
And that's definitely what I talk about in the growing your psychic senses class.
Mhm.
It is about, like, okay, well, I wanted this, wah, you didn't get it, and like you said, that's ego.
Mhm.
So it's really important
It's
to
ego, and also, if you don't mind, Elias,
no, go ahead.
when we're new, we're still building our reference system. We don't even know what that really looks like yet. So if you're saying I want it this way and this way, well, maybe you might get it that way, but will you even understand it yet? Because you don't even know what your reference system is. What does that even mean to you?
Right.
And so there's that too. So it's really, you know, it's better to just like try to just be with the experience and let it happen however it happens. And then as you become more controlled with your abilities, then you can ask for specifics. It's different. It changes.
Right. And the interesting piece is, I tell people I do this game with them where I'm like, okay, guess what color marker I'm pulling up. And I'm like, you guys, I hardly ever get it right. It's like everybody has their
Their strengths.
their strength. I mean, you tell
Yeah.
me something going on with you emotional, I'm there. I'm
Sure.
fully in. It's heart based. I get it, you know? And I tell everybody it's not a comparison. That's why I have so many of people in my field come on because we all have our own opinions. We all
Mhm.
have our own ways of doing it. There isn't a right or wrong way as long as we are A, coming from the heart, and B, doing no harm.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about intention, your pure intention. That's really what it's about.
Andrea says, my guide switched up how they were giving me info from a vision to a song. I love that.
Great.
Being in Tony Stockwell's class, Tony is like, they'll come to you with song. This
Mhm.
is why lately, guys, for the past couple months, I've been singing a lot on TikTok because these songs pop in and I'm like, okay, great. What is this? Elias book card list. Oh, what is that, Delora? But thank you. I don't know what that is, but okay. I hope it's something good. So um Okay. Hi, Rosemary. The number is 12. Pick 12, Rosemary, when we do it. I'm totally kidding. My guides give me info in all different ways.
Yeah, mine too, for
Present.
sure.
Yep, same here. Same here. Oh, all the books that I talk about all the time. Thanks, Delora. Now, what would be one of the best stories that you had about mediumship?
Oh, there's so many. Like a personal experience.
Just like with one of you and your client, without mentioning
Okay.
the client's name. Yeah.
Um. Oh gosh, I can't even just think of just one. I have no idea. There's.
That's okay. We'll come back to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have to think. Let me stew on that for a
Right.
minute.
Lori said, "What are the peripheral shapes I see?"
So you might be picking up on. They are called light codes, and sometimes the matrix. You'll see like graphs and grids and things like that. I see them too, and so that's what I would probably suggest that they are.
You don't want to know my answer, so
Yes, we do.
I would tell you it's food. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's shapes of food.
Shapes of food.
I'm kidding. Thank
Well,
you.
that sounds yummier.
Yeah, it does sound yummy. Andrew says you are awesome, Delora. Thank you. Pamela says great question. Anybody else have questions for April? I really and I want
Oh,
to.
I thought of an example for you.
Yes, go ahead.
I did recently pick up on some pretty detailed information for somebody that I did a reading for. I mean, I guess that's always the case, but I had a lady that both of her parents were coming through, and they gave me very specific information. They were showing me a candy dish on a dresser, and they were showing me like it was specifically like butterscotch, I think, or something that was in there. And they kept showing me all these candies. And then I said, "What's this red and gold thing on the table?" And she was like, "Oh, that's my dad, and he had this thing that he draped over the table." And so there's things like that that come through, and that's just a quick example.
It's wonderful when it gets that specific. That's the beauty of this work. Lori says, "I feel like they are family past." And Lori, if that is what you believe, then
Then
and
that's what it is.
right.
Yeah.
Something I say or April says, you have to go. This is the beauty of the work. You have to go with what you are feeling. You are getting the message.
Yeah.
It's like if I said, April speaks Chinese, I speak Greek, and you're speaking Latin, but we're seeing it, you're getting it in a different way.
Well, and just because, yeah, like it really is, all it matters is what it matters to you. Like it doesn't matter what I say or Lai says or anyone else, like what feels right in your heart, what feels right in your body and your gut, because that's the answer.
Right. And if you don't believe what we say, always go to Delora. She has an answer for everything. Okay. Mwah, Delora. Ronnie says, thanks, Delora. You are a blessing. I have a million notes of all Elias's recommendation of books. Now I can finally consolidate the list. Thank you, Delora. You're going to have to give me what the list is. Kelly says, I have a medium describe my bedroom in detail and the OIC. Oh, and the pic, sorry. And the pic of my grandparents is my grandma was describing to her. I love that. I love that. Sometimes it shows up in your alphabet soup. Yes, that's true. That's true. See what I mean? See what I mean? Like, that's how Delora channels. She has the alphabet soup and she's like, what is your name? And she sticks in the spoon and then comes out, I'm getting Carmen. Is there a Carmen here? Carmen. So a question for you both. Sure. I get shown blankets so often when I'm channeling. I don't know the reasoning. Why am I in a punchy mood? Look what you've done, April.
I'm sorry.
For you both, I get blankets so often when channeling. I don't know the reasoning and on any insight. Okay. Are you cold channeling?
You're awful.
Oh, it's like a cold call. Are you cold channeling? Oh my God. I'm so sorry, Pamela. Please forgive me, honey. Please forgive me. God. Oh my God, that's horrible. I'm totally channeling my dad. Go ahead.
So, I have a question. So you're getting pictures of the blankets. I'm curious how it's coming in for you. It does make a difference, is what I'm asking.
So all kidding aside, before I started,
Oh, she
before I
gets shown
started
blankets.
getting before I started learning Akashic records, I always saw a light blue blanket, and my teacher said that light blue energy is like the Virgin Mary energy, which is also the energy that's around the Akashic records, and it was like this
Oh,
light
okay.
blue energy. So it's just fascinating. Okay. D intuitively shown.
Shown. Okay. My first instinct would say I would question, what are you trying to protect yourself from? Like,
Mm.
what are you trying to keep covered? Maybe there's something you need to pull the covers off of. There's something that needs to be shown, and maybe you're not seeing it. I would go that route.
And then I would add to that is what needs to be warmed up
Yeah, for
in
sure.
the
Absolutely protected.
and the protection piece to
Mhm.
move it through. So
Yep.
I would say when you see the blanket, Pamela, I would say, can you please remove it for me? Can you please show me what's in the blanket or about the blanket? Give me another piece because I'm not understanding this. Okay.
Yeah, and color, it's funny because you said color makes a difference too. So I would even like, is the blanket the same color every time? Is it a
Right.
different color? Is there a pattern? Like,
Right.
yeah.
And I would really just definitely on your business card, just sorry, can't say it. Just put your name and say, I do cold channeling. Okay, I'll stop. Um, I didn't know blue connected to Virgin Mary. I see blue lights around me a lot. Very neat. Yes, very, very cool. Ron says maybe the blanket symbolizes a veil. Very
Well, and
true.
it could even symbolize the fact that maybe you're afraid to wake up. Like, and I don't mean like it could be symbolic for like, what are you afraid of seeing while you're awakening?
Yes.
Awakening.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very true. Very, very true. He can't stop with the dead. I know. I know. Um, okay. Is there anything going on with you that you're coming up? Is there any? I didn't ask you earlier before we got this on. Is there any specials that you have? Is there any like? Are you doing anything for
I am
Valentine's Day?
I am running a special that I'm going to finish out this year. I decided to offer pay what you want readings. It's only a 30-minute recorded session and you get to pay what you want for it. So it's basically like a donation type reading. I will be doing that all year this year. I've decided to extend that throughout the year. I am also in the midst of creating a podcast. I'm trying to figure out what direction I want to go with that. And I've got 3 books that I've started writing, but haven't finished any of them. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Awesome. And we'll take this last question. I wake up at stupid o'clock and see streaming flashes of light like the Matrix movie scene. What is that? Downloads? Fascinating.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
it's interesting.
What do you take it to mean, Andrea? What do
Mhm.
you take it to mean? Because it could mean for you, that could be the symbol for downloads. That could also mean that you're sensing. This is interesting. I would have never, ever, ever said this. It could also mean that you're sensing, and I'm going to be careful how I say this. You're sensing not that there's a portal in your home, but you're sensing this interdimension kind of thing.
I'm wondering like where your bedroom sits as far as ley lines go.
Mm,
Like that's literally kind of what I'm seeing too. Like I'm
yeah.
wondering like how that pertains to the ley lines on your property.
Wait, let's wait for it. Dolores says, I got fabric weavers like the tartan. Each color width represents a message. Okay. Wow, you go, lady. Inspiring. Yes. I have no clue, but I feel very out of body all the time. See, that's why I think it's like some sort of, I don't know. I'd have to, we can talk about it. We'll sit there and talk about it. I want to thank you so much for coming on, April. I hope you
Thank you for having
come
me.
back
This
and
is fun.
we can talk more about the stuff that I don't talk about, which is always nice to do. Oh, wait.
It's
Please
a nice change once in a while, huh?
please hold callers. One more. I'm an intuitive card reader, but a few times on my lives, I've had people's loved ones come to me and was spot on. I want to develop this further. Awesome. Then you should. You should. I am, even though I've been doing this work since 2005, teaching, and being in this since really '96. But I would tell you that we're always learning. We're always learning. I'm doing a year mentorship with Tony Stockwell from the UK, and it is just fascinating learning different mediumship. But I would definitely, get out there and learn. It is really important, the grounding piece and learning the evidential piece first, and then going from there. And again, here is April's website, EXORDIUM healing.com.
Okay.
And love this chat. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, guys. Tomorrow, what's going on? Tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, we have Messages from Above. That's 2 hours of me doing mediumship readings for $11. $11.
That's
For 2
awesome.
hours. And then tomorrow night, Kathleen L. will be on at 5 p.m. Pacific time talking about moving through grief and loss. And then on Sunday, at 9 a.m. Pacific time, that's the 12th, we are going to talk about the retreat in Oregon, aspects of love. And that is all kinds of aspects of love: love of self, love of others, love of family, love of nature, love of God, universe, spirit, love of work. We're going to talk about all those aspects. We're going to be doing a drum making ceremony. We're going to be doing a sound healing ceremony. We're going to do 2 fire ceremonies and write a letter to a loved one and get a message. That's all in that retreat. And I'm super, super excited about that retreat. It's $150 to save your spot for the deposit. We are only taking 26 people. So thanks, Priscilla, for putting that on there. And come join us. Always go to eliaspatris.com to look at the events and the appearances. I have put some of the people that are on there. I was trying not to do that because I don't want you guys to get bombarded all the time with like, here's a notice, here's a notice, here's a notice. But I'm doing it on a weekly thing so you guys can see. Next Saturday, this is fun. Next Saturday, April. Next Saturday, we have Eva Goulet on. She has a beautiful camp made for kids. Teach them about chakras and everything else.
Oh, I love that.
It is just, she is an amazing, amazing lady. I'm going to tell you guys, her website is Dancing Jaguar Inspirations. Notice how I said Jaguar, like, because sometimes on that commercial, when you walk into a Jaguar. So Dancing Jaguars Inspirations.
Like they should have had that camp around when I was a kid. Geez, that would have helped.
I know. Super, super important.
Yeah.
And then for those of you that are watching the Super Bowl on Sunday, go.
Whatever team.
Whatever team. So go. Pittsburgh Steelers and Kansas City Buckeyes. Yay, you go. Rah, rah. And when you hit that ball and you run with it and you go, gole! Enjoy. And I hope all the hoops are there. All right. Remember, guys, we are here to connect. And when we connect, we educate. And when we educate, we grow. There is unity in community. And yes, Andrea says, whichever team has the nicest butts. Way to go, girl. Way to go. From our hearts to yours. Thanks, everybody, for being
here. Bye, y'all.
April, hold that thought, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone.